Hello and welcome back to the Rekt Capital channel. Welcome to today's update. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. The cryptocurrency that I'd like to focus on the most in this video is Bitcoin, the king of crypto. If we look at this monthly range right over here, the range high, the range EQ, and the range low, this is the monthly range. It's been a very good reference point for price. As you guys know, who you guys have been watching for a while now, so I've been speaking about this range for a while. And now we saw a range EQ support test, a relief rally towards the range high, which rejected price, and now we saw the range EQ basically break down. And of course, this range EQ was confluent with the 200 daily EMA, and the 200 daily EMA is a long-term gauge of investor sentiment, so it's very important for price to be above the 200 daily exponential moving average, because that means that investors are bullish on Bitcoin. And what I posted on my Twitter is that every time we see a breakdown past the 200 daily EMA right over here, and even over here, this precedes a financial opportunity. And I'm going to talk about this in a bit more detail in a moment. So we've seen a breakdown from the range EQ and we've returned to the range low, and we tend to see some historical buy pressure around here. This actually gave us a around 40% or 30% rally towards the upside. From this point, we tend to see quite a lot of buy interest at these levels, but ultimately, even though a bounce may be on the horizon, it's the deviations from this range like this that produce the greatest rallies towards the upside. But going back to the 200 daily EMA, this is actually one step, the first step of my 6-step investing strategy for Bitcoin for 2020. I was waiting for step 1 to become validated, and that was a breakdown from the 200 daily EMA. And the next step, Step 2, is also validated. So far, so good, because what we're seeing here is that this weekly higher low is being tested for a support. If we zoom in here, this breakdown altogether is now testing this weekly higher level, higher low for support. And as you guys know, this higher low is very important in terms of what we see prior to the halvings. So this is the halving. This is the halving, of course, and this is the halving. And every time into the halving, we see this higher low have to be respected, like we saw on this occasion, and now on this occasion as well. So this weekly higher low being tested as a support is step 2 to my 6-step Bitcoin investing strategy for 2020. And if you'd like to see the next step or the rest of the steps, check out the video in the top right hand corner about my Bitcoin investing strategy for 2020. So far, things are aligning very well. The stars are aligning. Of course, I am counting on a bit of deviation past this weekly higher low, something I talk about in that video I mentioned previously. Some deviation, some outlier wicks, just to account for that extreme emotion past this weekly higher low. That's something I'm going to be looking for as well, because the panic selling, the sell side momentum behind those extreme panic selling emotions tend to drag price a little bit lower before reversing towards the upside, and we may very well see something like that at this higher low as well. So something I'm keeping an eye on, but it's great to see that history is repeating itself so far. And we're also seeing alignment in the fear and greed index. So this is currently the market sentiment in the market. Market participants are now extremely fearful. And as you guys know from my article about the fear and greed index and how extremely fearful levels for the fear and greed index tend to precede financial opportunity. In this green region, essentially speaking, every time the greed index, the fear and greed index revisits this region, we tend to see reversals towards the upside. And the best thing here is, if we look at this extremely fearful level for the index, this is around December 16th, December 20th of 2019. We're essentially at the same region, very close. But what I want to draw your attention to is the last time the fear and greed index visited the extreme fear levels is when Bitcoin bottomed at 6,500 before reversing to the upside for a 61% rally to 10,500. extreme fear really does precede financial opportunity. And that's essentially this time in the market, right? So this is when extremely fearful levels in the end of December 2019 had occurred, and this is when we saw a bottom in Bitcoin's price. So it is very much the case that whenever we see extreme fear, we can see very strong rallies towards the upside, and this extremely fearful level in the index is very good at predicting reversals in Bitcoin's price action. In any case, we are seeing the weekly high low for Bitcoin being tested now. We are seeing extremely fearful levels for Bitcoin's price action, and we're seeing the fact that we are still at the very beginning of the money flow cycle, because after all, every crypto money flow cycle starts with fiat, and we have to recognize which market phase we are in to plan where to put our capital in next. And the thing to bear in mind about the money flow cycle is that it always starts off with fiat, and so far people are selling off Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently in a downtrend, lots of panic selling, but what we need to bear in mind is that people are entering fiat. They are in their fiat positions right now, but we're slowly going to see Bitcoin take off from these extremely fearful levels and rally towards the upside to start this money flow cycle once again. That's something I'm very excited for, because after all, extreme fear precedes financial opportunity. And to just wrap up this video today, last week on Monday I spoke about how I'm going to chart two altcoins which you have mentioned the most comments and the most liked comments in the comments below always get chosen for these sort of analyses. And last Monday's video, Atom and KNC Kyber Network were mentioned the most. So at the moment I'm going to talk about this downtrending channel for Cosmos, Atom, BTC, as is the acronym for the coin. And essentially speaking, we've seen intra-channel plays all the time, from the bottom here to the top here, the bottom here to the top here. But ultimately, Cosmos has been struggling to maintain this downtrending structure. So if it doesn't manage to one day candle close above into the channel and return to this channel and also make it above this new resistance, then we're probably going to see further downside for Atom, for Cosmos. So it's very important to just return to this predominant market structure, because if it doesn't, something very interesting is going to be happening on the weekly, because we are seeing that this is essentially the resistance of all resistances for Cosmos to break before it really rallies and takes off closer into price discovery. But what we need to bear in mind is that this, on a macro scale, Atom is pretty much forming what is a higher low and ascending triangle. So of course the higher low isn't in yet, so that's why I'm just drawing this prospective higher low at the moment. If we see a rejection from this region, from the bottom of the downtrending channel and this green support turned new resistance possibly, if we see a rejection from here, we'll probably see new lows, and then we're going to see a higher low form, wherever that might be. Of course, it's difficult to gauge where that higher low is going to be, but already we can see that there is a ascending triangle forming on the weekly, which is a very fascinating sight to see on a macro time frame, because essentially speaking, ascending triangles are very bullish structures. So seeing this on the weekly chart for an altcoin is very positive, even if we might see some downside first. So that's Atom so far. Looking on Kyber Network on the weekly, also a very positive picture so far. And then we saw that supply zone become breached with a fantastic 32% rally towards the upside. And since then, we even saw a very nice pullback towards this old supply zone, this old area of resistance, and it has turned it into a new zone of demand, a new zone of support. So that's a fantastic technical sign that we've been able to claim an old resistance into a new support, and so far we are seeing the very beginnings of a flagging structure for KNC, for Kyber Network. And if we see this sort of flagging continue to persist as the week goes on and maintain its structure, this is a very bullish sign for Kyber Network going forward, because we don't see much historically transacted resistance, much historically transacted volume that would mean that there's a lot of sell-side orders in the order book. There is a lot of open space for Kyber Network to outperform Bitcoin going forward, and this flagging structure is a very good step in that direction. So having said that, we've compared Atom and we've compared Kyber Network. Which do you think is the best setup going forward? Which coin would you like me to cover in the next video? Of course, please leave your comments down below. I'll choose 2 for next week's update. I'll choose 2 altcoins, so comment your altcoin picks down below. And of course, like those comments if you'd like to see that particular altcoin get chosen. And that's just about it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please consider dropping a like and of course subscribe for more videos like this in the future. I'm more than happy to be pumping out this content on a daily basis so that you can enjoy and find value in it. So please consider dropping a like, subscribe for more videos like this in the future. I'm Rekt Capital. Thank you so much for watching and I'll speak to you very soon.